Hello. We'll see soon how it's choppy or anything. Because every once in a while now, um, this here comes up. Oh, you're not going to see it. The Windows 10 game bar. And it'll be like, hey, we've detected a game, and puts it in performance mode, which is, okay, it's a useful thing and all. But it can really screw up camera input and streaming. This one doesn't seem to let me put it in performance mode. Anywho, hello Gizmo. There we go, and I'm in the game. And right now, none of my audio is coming through. That may be just because how low it is, or it may be because I haven't streamed in a couple months and I've got all my settings wrong. Let's guess which one it is. I'm betting on all the settings. Where's my audio capture? We'll do settings on that. We'll do properties. Ah, yes. It is all my settings are wrong because I haven't streamed. Are you hearing stuff now? No? Maybe? We're gonna turn up the volume there. Oh wow, that's like super low. So we're gonna bring up that background volume. Nice. Now we'll have some background volume. I'm gonna turn it down on my end. You'll see that little number going to 66. It was a. Come on, can we? The slider isn't very precise. No, my computer's being like, no, you can't be dirty, Toad. We are not going to let you set your volume adjuster to that magical number that you all know what I'm looking for. No, it's not going to go. We're going to stay on 66. And hello, Gimme! Okay. So, over the last few days... Ooh, that's still loud on my end. I have built a new ship. Look at my pretty ship. Okay, you can't see much of anything right now, so we'll get a swing in. Ooh, I don't like these. Okay, why am I going in circles? I'm supposed to be swinging back and forth. There we go. See, look at that. Pretty ship. Ow, and then break my legs on the ground. Awesome. Breaking legs. Breaking all the legs in the game. We're playing this game in Italian mode. I live in an Italian community. It's funny. It's a mafia joke. Laugh, damn you. Laugh. Anywho, how is everybody doing tonight? We got 3 viewers right away. Awesome. Even though it's been like 3 months since I've actually streamed. So what was happening is like this house got so hot that my computer would shut down. It actually happened during the stream that my computer is just like, nope, it's hot as balls in here. And I'm done. So it has cooled off immensely. And then the other thing that's happening is there is significant forest fires around here, so I have been having some respiratory issues. Yes, because during my childhood I had severe asthma, and it hasn't bothered me since I moved to the west coast of Canada. But now, with all the smoke in the air, the asthma is being aggravated by that. So it's like, first time since like 06, I'm having really annoying asthma. But anywho. Put a bubble over my nose. Yes, that's exactly what I need to do. Actually, that's barely joking as well, because yeah, a lot of people are wearing particulate filter masks in the town right now. Like, every morning I wake up and there is literally ash on my car. Oh hey, look, we've got materials right there. Oh, it's lead. Oh well. Be a bubble. At my current weight, it seems like I'm working on that, so I'm going to be working on not that. Now that I'm feeling slightly better, and I've got my gym equipment all set up properly downstairs now. Okay, I think this is showing up wrong. There's supposed to be like rocks that these minerals are in, but the rocks aren't showing up since the newest update. Ah. Yeah. Yeah, the fires are... Yeah, there's like people having... Regular people with non-regular issues having respiratory issues. That was a really fumbly way of saying exactly what I wanted to say. But you get the meaning that, yeah, like, everybody's being bothered by... Man, this makes resource collection way easier by the forest fires. But yeah, like, there's... maybe a kilometer from my house, or no. Maybe a kilometer from my house. I'm not sure if it's actually that far or not. A smelter, and it's got like massive smokestacks you can see from like forevers away. Or ice. And it's been so smoky that like you can't see the smokestacks, which are like one of the major defining features of our town. No, and we're getting delay. Yeah, still get performance drops randomly in this game. Hey, there's some rocks. We're gonna break open a rock and see if it's got good stuff inside. Woo. Tin. Tin's okay. Tin is light, but not very strong. And we're gonna pick up that little crystal. So, Gizmo, how did you enjoy Breaking Bad? And did you get to finish it or not? If she hasn't finished it, do not post spoilers in the chat, or I will kick you from chat. Or one of my admins will kick you from chat, Gizmo being one of them, so be nice to her. Yeah, Breaking Bad was good. Oh, so he had already seen the end. Okay. That's why I hate TV. Like, on-demand services are just superior that way, so it's like, okay, I can watch things in the correct order on my time schedule when I want to watch them. Versus, you know, hey look, there's stuff, and then I just watch the ending of a show that I need to catch up on the 4 previous years of. Nothing in those houses. Let's go in this one. Ouch. That's not the control tool thingy I want. That is... I already scanned that one, apparently. Man, just random frame drops. Spoilers in cars can be good if they have a purpose. Putting a big spoiler on the back of your Civic does literally nothing except for make you look like a jackass. Oh. Yes. When shows are like, oh hey look, to view the next 3 seasons you have to use another streaming service provider. because our agreements have changed. Like, with the way globalization should work, like, everything should just... Media rights should be standardized. This is what we need to do, people. So if anybody wants to lobby for something, media rights need to be standardized so that there is a base licensing fee. And whoever pays that fee can broadcast it. Okay? That way the content creators are always making their money, and any service that wishes to broadcast a show can broadcast it in its entirety as long as they're paying for it. Whew. Because I got on a rant there, I almost fell off a wall and died. But yes, hello, droid! Oh, and speaking of cars, as we were a moment ago, if anybody knows of any really cool cars, like, just like thoughts of awesome cars, like they don't actually have to be available that you know of, because I can search it out. I'm looking for a super cool car, in around, or under, I guess, the $18,000 or $20,000 Canadian mark. As it may turn out that, again, said Smeltery on our hill, one of the vehicles leaving Smeltery did a giant acid dump down the main street of our town, and like 90% of the vehicles in our town, like anybody who works on a weekday, got hit by this acid spill, and like everything's being written off. So I may be looking at a new car in the near future. So anybody who knows of anything super interesting, whether it's just interesting as in unique, or interesting as like insanely fun to drive, I am considering different options and kind of pre-shopping before I find out whether my vehicle will be written off or not. I'm actually getting it tested this weekend. For those of you who are Mustang fans, I already drove the new Mustangs, and I don't like them, so we can count that off. Hyundai Veloster as well is a wimpy vehicle for how aggressive it looks. It's a real disappointment. The Hyundai Genesis, however, is quite nice. And then I've driven an Accord Coupe. Nice handling. I actually really liked how it went, the 6-cylinder one. But the interior aggravates me with the layout of the center console and the driver controls. So, yeah, the Accord Coupe, fantastic driving vehicle, very fun in the 6-cylinder, plenty of power with the 6-speed manual transmission. However, the 4 displays with duplicate information down the center of the car, absolutely just like it aggravates me. It's a pet peeve. It's a poor design choice. I don't know how to say it, but anyway, my panties are getting in a bunch about that. But yeah, like, literally thousands of vehicles are being written off. It's pretty nuts. Let's jump down this wall. Woo! I love this game. Oh, the grappling hooking aspect of it. They're supposed to be making some other aspects of it a lot better too. So if anybody wants to join me, there is a new factions alliance system I want to try out, so feel free. Getting a lot of acoustic clutter. Not sure what you're meaning there. Am I getting like reverberation off stuff? Am I echoes? Just background noise? Let's see, so I'll move some stuff out of the way because I do kind of have the mic sitting in a bad spot right now. Okay, so the reverb, maybe because I'm overdriving it. So let's try turning down my mic input a bit. So you guys may have to adjust your volume. So I'm turning down my mic so I'm not overdriving the broadcast software because I was up in the high gains. And then we're just going to move that microphone out there so it's not literally underneath things. How is that? Oh, let's not press that button. That drops me into oblivion. Okay. Arg, come on. There we go. Get the tree. Tree has been got. Now I'm going to run around it here. That's kind of 60% of the reverb. Okay, so actually what I was doing previously, which I don't have now, was directly behind my microphone is my the thing that holds the stuff I'm looking at, my monitor stand. Okay, so yeah, I had a towel wrapped around my monitor stand previously, and now I don't have that. So I had a soft surface around the microphone, and now it's just hard desk. So I'll probably put a soft surface around the microphone again here, and that will fix all of our problems. Toyotas are great cars in the correct years when they aren't using fly-by-wire brakes, which fail because of sloppy electronics. I am going to be looking at the Scion FRS for the Toyota GT86. So that's a rear-wheel drive sports car, both Toyota manufacturers, Scion and Toyota. And then, if they still did a Supra, I'd be looking at that. There's going to be a couple Mazdas I'm looking at. There's actually a couple Fiats I want to look at as well. So there's a lot of car shopping I'm going to be doing. If my car ends up being positively tested on Saturday, then I'm probably going to be doing a trip to a larger city center about 5 hours away. And, doing a big, like, just road trip and then test drive trip. So it'll be cool. The XB, I really liked the body style of the XBs. Like, the box, they are a perfect advertising platform. Like, it's a small vehicle, but it catches the eye for whatever reason. Like, everybody looks at those. Whether you hate the body or whether you love the body, that body draws eyes. So I did like them, and then I sat in one, and I looked at the interior, and, okay, so it's got, like, this really flat panel inside, at least the generations I was looking at, where they were, like, properly square. Now they're too soft. But, like, just flat panel dash, and then your air vents were these little, like, circular balls set haphazardly across the dash, asymmetrical, and the gauges were just in a weird position. And I sat in it, I put my hands on the steering wheel, and my eyes started kind of twitching, and I'm just like, nope, never again. Oh. Yeah, the really skinny, really square one. That's the body style to go for. Oh, there's a manta. Let's not turn our engines on because engines attract mantas. Which way is the wind? The wind is going directly into the wall, which we don't want to go there. Or is that the wall, or is there a island over there that... Damn it, why does it have to be so... Oh no, that's the wall. So yeah, there's going to be an island over there, so we're going to have to raise our sails. Raise the sails! And I should be able to get this one inside. Yeah, piss off, Manta. Yeah, the Matrix aren't a bad vehicle. I don't think I've actually driven a Matrix, but I've driven the Chevy Aveo, which was the sister car on the same platform. The Matrix and the Aveo were the same platform with some differences in interior. They're nice enough vehicles, but it takes a lot of modification to make them quick or fun. They're a little bit soft around the edges. Right? Either I want something very unique handling, or I want something aggressive handling. See, for me, I don't care if my vehicle lasts a long time, because I don't think I've had a vehicle ever, like, more than 2 years. Like, okay, so I'm 28, and my car history is a 61 Mustang, straight six, a Honda Accord, an 86 Honda Accord, a 91 Acura EL 1.8 liter, a 2007 Chevy Silverado, the Z71 off-road towing package, a 05 Ford Focus SEL stick, I had a Fusion for a short time in between that, so a 2009 Ford Fusion. Then I had my 1963 Pontiac Catalina, a 2014 Focus ST, really quick car, really odd handling characteristics, kind of scary to drive, but freaking awesome. And then I've had my RX-8 for just better than a year now, so I'm 9 vehicles in. Yeah, I like vehicles. I'm not crazy, I just like change. And experiencing new things. You hear that, ladies? I'm into trying new things. But anywho, yes. There's an island up there that I'm gonna go to. No, I think that's what I'm already been, whatever, we'll go up there anyway. If nothing else, I can grab resources up there. A Kia for 11 years? How do you have a Kia for 11 years? Those things' interiors break down after like 11,000 kilometers. And I'm not kidding either, like I was seriously interested in a Kia Soul until I found one that was 4 years old and 11,000 kilometers and the whole interior was wore out. And then I looked at a Forte with 20-some thousand kilometers on it and probably about 4 years old, I think, 3 or 4 years old. And again, its door handles were wore down to white plastic. It just, the interiors disintegrate in those. And I like pretty things too much. Like, it ticks me off a lot. Yeah, it's falling apart as a Kia. Oh, man. Flying up. Flying up to the place. We're flying up. Flying up to outer space. But not because we're in an airship. And it's not airtight. So we die in outer space. Dying in outer space. In outer space. We would die in outer space. Outer space! Woo! Outer space! Wow! I'm sorry, my voice is way off because everything's been too dry around here, and I'm sure that's just like ear rape. I have thought of a late 80s GMC van, the one that they usually did camper conversions on, that come with the 8-cylinder supercharged engine. It's actually the successor of the one that was used in 18. So very similar body, but a stupid fast van if you have it unloaded. Hey, a Freckle's here! Come on, Come on, get up there, because I need to get to my control panel now. I know this is my own fault for, like, dicking around on my ship, but get up to controls. There we go. Oh, level it out. Bring engines down. Oh, I'm, like, right above. Okay, we're gonna bring the mast down. Come on. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Yes, piss off, Mantis. Hey, Freckles, have you had a evacuation warning yet this year? She had an evacuation warning for the fires last year. I know Darmok would not approve of my vehicle because there's no weapons on it, but that's fine. Plus Darmok and 50-foot Ant were the ones... Wow! Raped by a manta in the face. Were the ones that were researching all our weapon advancements, so unless they log in, I can't build any. Yes, it's a flying stingray that is the bane of my skyfaring existence. That's right. Die. Perfect. Where's my backpack? I'm gonna take all this stuff. And then I'm gonna put it over here. Did I leave the engines on? No, the engines are off. Why do I hear engines? Is there another ship down there? Or is it just like the buzzing of my core thingy that keeps me floating? So we're gonna lower... Oh, that is interesting. No, I haven't been to this island before because I would remember statue of woman thing levitating boxes. Yes, it doesn't give as much creative possibilities as Space Engineers, because the parts are a lot more limited to what you can do with them. But it is another fun vehicle building game. And you know how I like my vehicle building games. I like vehicles, I like building, I like going car shopping, which I plan to do again very soon. I do want to try the FRS, and there's like a ton of used ones out there. Good, I will still be able to get up to my ship even though it's that high up. Okay, we've got palm trees everywhere around here. Is there any... There's standing circles of some sort. And then... okay. Just looking around the island. Hey, fuel. Sure, you go ahead and tell me your story. Actually, if you're up to it, I will jump in the Discord and you can just speak your story instead of, you know, like typing it, because typing's obnoxious. Otherwise, if you want to type it, then you can type it. I just hate typing. Yeah, playing games with people, especially when, like, new people start playing with us from the channel. I've had a few people start playing, and they're like, oh, I'm not comfortable speaking, so I'm just gonna, like, do text chat. And I'm like, well, you better be in our voice channel anyway, because I am not going to type back to you.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, as a streamer, it's kind of hard to balance the having to use chat and having to stream.
No, it's just my spelling sucks, so I refuse to type to anybody. Same as like, oh,
Okay.
you want to get a hold of me and you don't have like a 3-word message to leave me? Give me a phone call, otherwise you may not hear back from me for a week.
It's just why we don't get much of you on Discord. Because you're embarrassed about your typing skills. It's fine, Toad. We all type badly. No, I've been watching. It's a well-funded sort of popular.
Ah, yes,
group.
your Critical Role.
Critical Role.
Yes.
It's part of Geek and Sundry. I was watching back one of their old campaigns. So, right, the DM they are looking for a magical item, right? And the DM explains that in their search for this magical item, there's stuff before this, but in their search for the magical item, they arrive at a cliff over the sea. 2,000 foot below, the waves are crashing, and the sound of the seagulls is heard. Everything you know from your magic tells you that the item should be around here. Right? So one of the party flies down and casts magic down near the ocean's surface and finds out the item they want is underwater. Right?
Okay.
So the druid, because the druid has animal shape and can turn into a fish, decides to leap off the 2,000 foot tall cliff to get to the ocean.
And splatters himself because water surface tension.
Not even better than that. They didn't even manage to get far enough out from the cliff. The cliff isn't dead straight, it's slanted, and the DM had described this.
Nice.
So the DM kind of looks at the druid when she does this, and he kind of goes through a thing of kind of like, okay, you're falling, what do you do? You're falling, what do you do? So she tries, and he rolls a couple of dice to determine whether or not she gets far enough away from the cliff to hit water. And then he just looks at her for a bit and starts rolling dice. And everyone's kind of looking at him. And he looks at the druid, who is level 17 and has 120 hit points, and says, you take 460 damage as you scatter yourself on the rocks at the bottom of the cliff. And everyone just goes silent.
The best thought out plans of mice and men, eh?
Yeah. He's a very good DM because he doesn't kind of lead them on for a lot of things. And,
that's Matt Mercer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of his DM tip videos.
I have been enjoying thoroughly his process of just kind of like staring at the party as they do stupid shit. And it's like, oh god. I've been enjoying Critical Role thoroughly.
Yeah, I keep thinking about getting into it, but then it's like, but there's so many things and other stuff. Like, there's never enough time to do everything.
Exactly. If you did want to get into Critical Role at any point, I wouldn't recommend starting with the first campaign because the audio quality at the beginning is kind of crappy, and a couple of the guys who they have playing with them at the beginning are a little bit jerkish. By the time they get to the second campaign, which is thankfully at the moment the much shorter bit, they've got all of their audio sorted out, all of the characters, all the sort of regular players are quite good.
Okay.
And I do just thoroughly love the character of Renot, which is a little goblin thief who desperately wants to be a halfling. Because everyone hates goblins. So
yes.
She desperately wants to be a halfling instead. How's your D&D campaign been going?
Well, ours isn't that deep. I just go and light everything on fire. No, like, literally everything has been lit on fire. So we came up against a group of owlbears. So when we are starting that quest, okay, so we get invited by a farmer to, like, save the local town from these owl bears in a cave. What do I do? Oh yeah, we met these group this previously that, at their castle, they're manufacturing gunpowder. Let's just go buy gunpowder from them. So I just roll a keg of gunpowder down and take out the first owl bear. Then we go exploring deeper into the caverns. And we find the husk of the other owl bear, which then erupts into spiders. Okay, so we had a spider eruption. Not just like, oh hey look, there's spiders down here. It's just like, spiders erupt from the corpse of this giant menacing creature. So, what do? Drop the 3 other kegs of gunpowder I brought with me. I blow up every single one of my party members to some extent. Like, we're all limping out of there on, like, our last few hit points. And then the whole dungeon we're supposed to explore, well, because it was coated with spider webs, the whole thing gets engulfed in flames and everything is burnt. So that whole dungeon just pretty much got written off until we had some, like, druids come in and, like, excavate it for us. Then currently, we had one of our team members was targeted by a cat person assassin from an assassin's guild that likes to remove the eyes of its victims to let them know who is there. And so what we do is we go into the city where we kind of find the markings of this assassin guild, and instead of going for a frontal assault or trying to, you know, sneak into their place or whatever, or infiltrate them, at this point I've now got a broom of flying, so yes, I've got a flying broom. Also, I'm playing a sorcerer that likes to overuse the levitate spell, like, ridiculously. I levitate everything. It's my main weapon. I have killed hordes of enemies by levitating light posts into them. So, yeah, levitate is my go-to. But anywho, so with a combination of major illusion, so I can make myself look like Sky, my flying broom, levitate, and are now set up regular shipments of gunpowder kegs from this other group, I decided to just go drop gunpowder kegs down all their chimneys. So there's like 4 chimneys in this place. Our sorcerer has used his familiar to, like, scout it out, and we know, like, at least 3 of the fires are burning in there. But for whatever reason, there's not a big bang. So then we have to go in for the frontal assault. I go in for the top balcony. We find out that they actually netted their fireplaces, mostly just because the game master actually wanted us to go in there, you know, instead of just death from above. I don't know what's wrong with her. Death from above is so much better. But anywho, so we get in here, and now that I'm kind of pissed off because nothing exploded, I decide to just use lightning bolt, which is a 10-foot wide cone of lightning that fires in front of me for like 200 feet. And every group I run into, I use lightning bolt. So every single wall in the upper floors starts being scorched and smoldering, and I end up lighting the whole place on fire, hallway by hallway, as I just lightning bolt every enemy I come by. So we've now burned down this place, which is fantastic. Okay? And so we burned it down. Now, one of our other party members, he has this dagger, which comes from a cult of dragon worshippers. And I'm a sorcerer with a blue-blooded dragon heritage, so I'm like, oh, dragon worshippers, those guys sound pretty cool. I like dragons, whatever. And he's like, oh no, these guys are bane of existence, and blah blah blah, whatever, we have to take them out, they're like super evil. So, again, instead of infiltrating them, or sneaking around and trying to find them, well, since it's in the same city as this Assassin's Guild, we decide to sneak back to the place that we previously burned down and take their emblem that we found and graffiti it across the scorched ruins of this, like, large house that we previously burnt down, this guild headquarters. So now this dragon cultist, like, their super secret emblem that they put in, like, their little hidey places as, like, a thief's camp, well, it's now plastered across a whole building. We've also found 3 homes, which seem to have been targets of these dragon cultists. So our current plan is, because we've just now graffitied their logo all over this building we burned down and drawn the attention of the police, is we're now going to go back and burn down the homes of the victims of the dragon cult. So this way, we can follow the police around as they investigate these arsons going on. They'll find dragon cult symbols everywhere, and then be on a further lookout for dragon cult symbols, and we'll just have to follow the larger task force of the police, instead of our little 4-man group going around and actually hunting for stuff. So this is our current plan. Just, like, burn everything down, blame somebody else.
I hope the DM isn't allowing you to get away with this and still remain good.
Oh no, my guy is 100% pure neutral.
Okay.
Yeah, my character is 100% pure neutral. Going more chaotic neutral recently, but he's not evil by any means.
The rampant use of explosives does kind of scream chaotic. Note to self, never allow Toad's characters to get hold of explosives.
Oh no, that's just this character. That's not an average thing. Damn it, my railing killed me. But yeah, it's I like to play each character a little bit differently. It's not like I'm 50 where every character he plays commits genocide.
Yeah, but they all commit different genocides.
There's always a sex scene, there's always genocide. Whether it's a shower or alien AIDS, there's always a sex scene and there's always genocide. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, there's sci-fi D20 videos on this channel. You can go check them out. Although I guess in the first campaign, I'm the one that tried to blow everything up, so fair enough.
Yes, you did. Although, to be fair, like, even though you didn't have all the information, you did kind of pick it out right that this was the bad guys. The shower scene, I scrubbed that from my mind.
You forgot about the shower scene?
No, I didn't. Freckle. Freckle said she scrubbed it from her brain.
How could you... He was like trying to go super spy, and instead he just jacked a guy off in a shower and did nothing.
That was mostly determined by dice, by the way.
I know.
Like, it's like, off the times when you guys were doing something weird, and I was just like listening to you guys kind of explain what you wanted to do, I was rolling dice in the background to kind of figure out, like, how the hell is this going to go?
Why do you need to roll dice to know that all of this is going to end horribly? Every time.
True.
No, don't run into the trees. Do not run into the... Damn it. I have miscalculated this adventure. Or this venture. It's not an adventure yet. Well, now that I'm tipping over sideways, it kind of is an adventure. Woo! Do a barrel roll!
That's an aileron roll, Toad. It's not a barrel roll.
No, it's getting caught on a tree and being pulled sideways. So I've had like 0 input on the controls that whole time. Woo! Doing things and stuff and more things. Woo! Yes, I want to do an online campaign again, because that was fun. Actually, right now I'm working on the side on a little bit of an adjustment to the character creation system for the D20 style games. Because I find I absolutely hate leveling up. Character creation and leveling up sucks.
Okay.
Let's just like, it's not fun. It's like, okay, I've got to figure out what I want to be before I've got any feel for this character or this story or whatnot. And I've got to make all these decisions right away. And also, whenever I get to a certain milestone, all of a sudden, things just jump dramatically, and I have to follow a bunch of rules to get there. So what I'm working on is a usage-based leveling system for D20.
Okay.
And a character birth system that you can choose from, but it's set up so that if you don't want to have to choose, other than like a starting career, your whole character can be generated by about 12 dice rolls.
Okay.
So that way you can just be like, screw it, we're going to start a game, everybody roll these dice, and you can just start.
So like the character birth thing, I've seen stuff like that before. The usage base.
Sorry, I can't hear you. I'm shooting a mantis in the face, and then I'll listen in a second, because this gun is really loud. Okay, now I can listen to you.
So, the non-leveling up RPG, there is variants of kind of basically freeform RPGs that use similar system. Things close to the Fate system, but not quite the Fate system. As to the character generator, I've seen some people do like automatic, like what is my character basically, and you just hit a button and it creates a whole bunch of variables. There are a lot of like more simplified systems. One of the reasons I like D20 is just because I know D20.
Yes.
Like, for me, building a character in D20 isn't a problematic thing because my brain, like I learned D20 when I was a teenager and played it for 10 years. My brain just works with D20. It's like I know a lot of people who talk about homebrewing and about how they had to spend 10 hours building an item for one of the characters in their campaign as the DM to make sure it was balanced.
Really?
And I'm like, I just make balanced shit up off the top of my head. And I make it up in a way that it's balanced with the rules because I know the rules well enough. It's one of the things I disagreed with Matt Mercer, where Matt Mercer was talking about giving a character an overpowered item that was ruining the game, and how like you could basically reveal the item was cursed and this, that, and the other. As a DM, I just tended to go to characters and go, yeah, that's overpowered. We're gonna deal with that out of character between sessions because that's ruining it. Like, it's one of the things, like, if you ever have a D&D group where people aren't there so that everyone can enjoy it, I think you're kind of in the wrong D&D group.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a battle between players and characters and things like that. It's like, yeah, you can be competitive and your character can be a douche, but players are all there so everyone can have fun.
It's one of the things that I can't remember whether it's him that said it or whether it was Shadiversity that said it, that you need to know the difference between the player and the character. And if your character's being a douche, that's one thing, but the player should never be a douche.
Yeah.
And if you find you're playing with a player that's a douche, you're playing with the wrong group.
I mean, this is one of the kind of entertaining things about playing a thief. That causes a lot of tensions in a lot of group if you start stealing from player characters.
My character also does that.
But handled properly, it can be entertaining and quite clever.
My character doesn't so much steal from other people, but puts himself in situations where everything he needs is paid by another party member. Because, like, in our whole campaign, I think I've paid for, like, one meal and a couple things of ale, and that's been it. Everything else my character has consumed have been paid for by another player.
That's exactly the same as Not from the Blinking Second Critical Role campaign. Not has paid for nothing.
And I'm way off course here. There we go. Bring it around. Really hope this is a cool island over here. build more engines soon so I can attempt the wall. But yes. No, I think the hardest thing for me is I find that the fantasy thing just isn't it for me. And since I'm very used to, I don't want to say faster leveling systems, but systems that make you feel like a hero sooner,
Yeah.
D&D 5e just hasn't been my thing. It feels a lot slower.
It depends on how it's managed. Like, one of the problems with D&D 5e is if you're going flat by the rules, things are quite slow and painful. It is one of the kind of inherent problems with the rule-based tabletop systems, is that to make things fair, they kind of front-load stuff quite heavily, and that could be quite frustrating for people who are there for a heroic story.
I just find like trying to modify or grow into your character takes forever. Like in the 3 systems, you got traits and skill points a lot faster through the leveling than in the 5 system. So whereas I've got a sorcerer, or I'm a sorcerer warlock now, I just cross-classed. All my stuff is based off charisma. For casting, I have all of a +1 to charisma. So everything I do, I'm useless at, except for lightning bolt and levitating people. And magic missile, because none of those are actually skilled things, or they don't check against my casting ability. But like, I have to go up like another 4 levels to be able to increase my charisma by 1 to actually increase my ability to do anything that my character's class is based off of. So it's just like, to grow into that character takes a long freaking time. It's like, you learn all these epic abilities that you supposedly can do, but if your stats don't support them, they're useless.
That is one of the... I think it's one of the things that does make one-shots a lot easier. Especially because, like, it's one of those things where the D&D systems are so complicated. The D20 systems. I mean, a lot of tabletop role-playing systems, because a system that has to cover everything is, of course, going to end up kind of complicated.
Yeah.
And it's one of the problems where a system that has to cover everything, even after years of playing, you don't necessarily know all of the rules. Once you get kind of a good grasp on the rules, like my first 3 or 4 characters were underpowered and not particularly entertaining to play. But once I got a good grasp on the rules when I'd been playing for a long time, like some of my characters, like Seven Scars, Thrag, things like that, some of the characters I was playing in campaigns were really good from day one because I knew how to stat and craft and things. It's one of the things I don't like about stat-specific random rolls, where it's like, okay, now you roll your strength. You roll your strength, you get your strength. Now you roll your dex, you roll strength. The problem with doing that is that you can end up in a situation where you are a charisma-based caster with 6 charisma. And it's like...
But see, I like the whole, okay, your character's being born type idea. So I'm kind of, for myself, I'm kind of a purist that way. It's like, okay, you can change your stats. I've been offered that. And I'm like, now this is what I rolled. This is how I'm going to deal with it. It gives a different flair to my character. It's just like every once in a while there's that frustrating moment of, well, I could have done this awesome thing, except for all the opponent has to do to save from it is roll higher than a 9. And it's like,
which
well,
admittedly is
thanks
50-50.
Except for when all my rolls are below 15 and all the rolls are above 12, because my dice luck sucks.
Oh my god, I was playing a session. I was playing a character called Seven Scars. Seven Scars was a young monk.
Okay.
Very, very powerfully designed monk. I designed this character to be very, very powerful because they needed a hefty hitter, basically. They had a tank, but they didn't really have someone who could go face-to-face in melee combat and destroy stuff. So I joined the campaign partway through and I built this Seven Scars powerful, powerful monk. Had an ability called Stun Strike, where basically I could spend my attack action hitting someone, dealing damage, but instead of getting my extra attacks, they had to roll versus a save. This is 3.5 rules rather than 5 edition rules, but had to roll versus a save, or they'd be unable to act in the next round of combat.
Oh, okay.
Because the way I'd statted my character, the DC save for that was, we were level 9, the DC save for that was 19. So most average characters our level had to roll above a 16 to save. I failed to stun a pretty weak creature 5 times in a row. It rolled 19, 19, 18, 17, 19.
And you then proceeded to check the Game Master's dice, didn't you? You cheating bastard!
I mean, it's one of the fun things as a DM. One of the things I find fun as a DM is I'll set up an encounter that's supposed to be really challenging, and the party will hit it and destroy it in 2 rounds. And they'll be like, "Oh, that's great. We'll carry on through the dungeon." They come to the next encounter, which I've statted up to be a walkover for them. They should just walk into this fight, and just like 25 rounds later, 2 of them are unconscious, and it's like, what's wrong with you people?
Yeah. No, my dice rolls always suck, but it's okay because I've got a necklace that won't let me die, and if I go down to 0 hit points, I recover to 1 hit point, so I can just continue in the fight. So, my character has, in the past, basically walked up to a dragon, said, "What up, bitch?" slapped him with a spell, got breath attacked to death, and then stood up and said, "Hey, that's all you got," and continued to attack him with daggers.
I take it that's got some pretty hefty limitations.
I can only come back from 0 to 1 once. But otherwise, yeah, I've got the preparative wound closure that I always stabilize.
Immediately, yeah.
Yeah. On my next round. So if something decided to keep attacking me, I would be screwed. But since nothing just seems to just hate me and keep attacking me, I'm usually fine.
Oh,
Which
the whole...
I think is unimaginative on the DM's part. It's like, come on, kill me already. You totally could have killed me.
Well, this is one of the things I like about the Matt Mercer's approach to that exact thing, and it's one of the things I've done as well before I even started watching Matt Mercer, is when a character goes down in a fight, he has the enemies standing around them roll an intelligence check.
Oh, and to see if they recognize...
Basically to see if they realize that killing the shit thing on the ground is probably a good idea.
Hello, tree. Hey, you brought me to a nice gentle stop. Thank you. Oh, and I forgot to put one of my masks in. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I was watching a later section of the first campaign for Critical Role, and they went into the Hell Dimension using Planar Shift spell. And to get out of the Hell Dimension, they had to Planar Shift out. As they were fighting
So is the Hell Dimension different from the Shadowfell?
Yes, it depends on which setting you're playing in. Basically, the Hell Dimension is based in one particular setting, and it's 9 layers of hell, each one looked after by a different demon. So they Planar Shift in. One of the characters casts Planar Shift. That's the only character in their party that can cast Planar Shift. As they're running around hell, dealing with this situation, they get into a fight, and they all run off. it's that character's turn last in the combat order. So they've all run off, and that character's on its own, and immediately gets taken out to unconsciousness. And they're all 60 foot away, round the corner. And she gets hit twice more and fails 2 of her death saving throws.
Ooh.
And the faces on the players when the DM says, "How are you going to get out of hell if she dies and you don't have planar shift?" And all the players are like, "What?" It's like not realizing that their only ticket out of hell.
Yeah, it's like she's our ride.
Yep.
We should fix this.
After that fight, the DM said that was end of campaign. Like, if you had not saved her, campaign over, end of campaign. All characters dead, no continuation. Do you have a player in your D&D game that is so obsessed with loot he ignores fights so that he can go and collect loot?
That would be me.
You're the twat. Right, got it.
I am the guy where it's like, oh, my colleague's on the ground, and I could give him a healing potion, but I only have 1, and it's mine, and there's a chest over there.
Oh, you prick.
Like I said, 100% neutral. I will not actively harm any of my teammates, but if it doesn't help me, well, what's the point? I'm then chaotic that I blow stuff up all the time. Like, literally all the time.
I've played the odd kind of completely crazy caster that's had his go-to spell set. Any electric spell, especially shocking grasp and things like that, combined with the create water spell, always entertaining.
Yes. No, I'm working into necromancy.
Ah.
But again, that's like 7 levels away before I can actually do anything.
Yeah, it's one of the things I think 3.5 got better than 5th edition. Is the pace of character development. I think one of the things 5th edition gets better than 3.5 is things like, to be killed, you have to go to a negative hit point value equal to your maximum hit points, rather than just -10.
I do like that. And I kept that rule in my campaign where we're doing D20 Future, which is a 3.5 base, but we've kept that rule.
I like the simplification of the aid action, where instead of you get +2 for the first person, +1 for the second person, blah blah blah, and doing all that math, it's just advantage, disadvantage, roll once or roll twice, or roll twice and take the lowest. So it simplifies that system slightly. There's less what I call on the table math.
Yeah, no, it's definitely got its nice points, but the character development is just forever taking.
Especially if you're not playing with all of the additional books. Because 5th edition has quite a few additional books. And in some of those, there's ways of making your character more powerful faster.
Well, it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, at what point is it just like a no-fun exploit as well? Because like we had one of our players bring up this, like, yeah, like, technically, if we would have decided to just, like, wait a week here, like, there's a calculation for how many days it takes of training something to go up a level. So it's just like, yeah, we could, like, just hang out here and, like, train at this spot and level up. And just, like, have that as a thing our characters did while we were all away for a 2-week break in the game or something like that. And it's just like, well, then what's the point of playing then?
I know a lot of DMs don't give downtime XP. A lot of DMs don't give downtime XP.
See, for me, I just go milestone.
Yeah.
When I'm running the game, I like milestones. It's like, Okay, we've completed this chapter of the campaign, and you are halfway to your next level.
That makes a lot of sense. A lot of people do more so.
Yeah. But no, what I'm working on for my own rules that I've been tinkering around with is a usage-based leveling system. So basically, around each one of your core stats is a box with a bunch of ticks around it. Or like you've got a circular gauge almost, and you're filling up the gauge. And basically, you gain a tick mark in that gauge each time you surpass your roll in that ability +5.
Okay, I see.
So
what
it's
you're
like, if you have a kind of like superb completion of a task, you get slightly better in it. And the first 3, I believe, are at 7 ticks. So you have to complete 7 feats that are 5 better than your current score. So like your roll plus your modifier. And then after that, because you've now upped your modifier by that point, it then goes down to 5 ticks, because your difficulty curves increasing with how much better you become. And I think the way I have it set up, it'll let you get up to up to 20 of the maximum 30 skill points. And then the rest I have being awarded through job systems and basically completion events and campaigns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or character traits as well. Yeah, I can't see where the hell I'm going, but there's mantas on my ass, so I'm gonna cut engines and go to sales. But yeah, I'm working on a core sci-fi D20 rule set. So it's not as generalized, a lot more simplified, and your start is a little bit more random, so that you can start with brand new characters and you don't, or brand new players, and you don't have to go through, okay, let's create a character and here's this rule to do that. It's just like, okay, roll some dice, we're going, and you can just kind of learn as you go.
It makes sense. I think it would lead to a little bit of hyper specialization with players kind of trying to find excuses to use the same skill over and over again. But again, that's an issue of power gaming and metagaming. Like you get that in D&D, like you can metagame characters to ridiculous levels.
That the place I just came from? I'm pretty sure that's the place I just came from. I did a 360. Woo. Or no, a 180. Or I may have done both. Okay, we're just gonna go into that cloud until we find something neat. Man, my keyboard is like wigging out like crazy. Just flashing different colors. I think I've got a driver issue.
I think like D20 is one of my favorite systems, but I think the D100 system and the Fate system tend to be a little bit better for just kind of epicness early on.
The thing with the Fate system, the more I look into it, I feel like to have it run smooth or have it run really fun, you need experienced players to play it. Because it's very much a storytelling system. So you need players that are already comfortable with the storytelling. Whereas with the dice roll systems like D20, and I'm not sure about 100, but some of the D6 I've looked into as well. Like, okay, yes, telling a story and being part of an adventure is part of it, but as part of the rules, telling a story that doesn't really affect your play at all.
Yeah.
So for those who aren't as comfortable yet or just getting into the role play aspect of it, there's not as much kind of pressure put on them. Be like, hey, break out of your shell now.
Yeah, like I mean, this is one of the problems with the fate system and with the dire system as well. They tend to be. You need to have people who are experienced in the role play aspect more so than in the dice play aspect.
I love how we can have a conversation about this now, and I can actually sound like I know what I'm talking about. After like just a couple years ago, I'd never even played a tabletop RPG until you took us through what was supposed to be a 4-hour session that lasted like 2 weeks.
And this is the
supposed to be a
glorious
4-hour tour.
Sorry. This is the glorious. No, this is fine. It's the glorious thing about tabletop. I have taken people who said to me, in the past, "Oh, my partner plays tabletop, and I really kind of want to support them in that. I don't know it, and I don't really enjoy sitting around rolling dice and things like that." And I've, in a short period of time, taken people like that and made them actually realise, no, this is actually fucking funny, and a lot of entertainment and a lot of fun. I've told you I ran a campaign for a group of kids.
Yes, the children with the teddy bear campaign.
Children with the teddy bear campaign. One of those kids was very, very antisocial. Not antisocial, they were very, very shy. And basically his dad made him play. His dad was one of my players for the adult campaign, and the kids from the other adult campaign players basically were playing, and his dad basically brought him and kind of left him with us.
It's like, you're playing a game now. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Have fun. Or else.
Yeah. He didn't really say or do anything for the first 3 or 4 sessions. What I always did was I always made sure that I talked about what his character was doing. Because when it came to combat and things, he was quite intelligent. When it came to combat and things, he knew his character's skills. And he would tell me what he was rolling. And I always made sure that I described his character's side of things. And I think it was about 4 sessions in when it was quite funny, really. Basically, it was not a combat situation at all, and in no other, the only situation where he really engaged with the game or talked at all was in combat. Because he knew his stats, he could roll his stats, he could tell me the numbers, and then he could shut up. And it was not a combat situation. They were doing something involving getting over a gorge in a cave. And everyone was coming up with all of these ideas and things, and they tried several things that failed. One of them had tried to shoot a rope across, and the rope was too heavy, and all these things. And he was playing this kind of like, I can't remember whether he was a plush or whether he was a wooden. I think he was a plush. I think he was playing a plush. And one of the player characters had a spell that allowed them to basically make a surface sticky, and he just kind of piped up very quietly, and he solved the entire sort of issue of getting across this cavern by having her make the wall sticky, and then basically disassembling himself across the cavern, just sticking a bit of himself to the wall, sticking another bit of himself in the wall, popping that bit off, sticking it on, popping that bit off, just leaving himself spread across the wall. And he just took a rope across and tied it to the other side. And everyone else was so excited that they got to the other side, and he was so happy that he'd actually helped. And it was entirely non-rule based. Like, that spell doesn't do that.
Yeah.
But he was like, yes, beautiful. And he still wasn't the most interactive person in the game, but over the next 4 or 5 sessions, he started to actually become a part of the non-combat elements of the game. It's like, yes, that is the power.
Once you get something that grooves, or somebody takes that kind of first step, it's like after that, it's just goes.
Yeah.
So whether it's finding the right setting for someone, like you did for me in 50, or whether it's just the right situation to bring out their interest. No, seriously, piss off, Manta jackasses. No, you cunt! Stop! Oh yeah, now you're just gonna like go lay over there. Asshat. Okay. Just a nice civil discussion about tabletop, interrupted by Sky Mantas being a dick.
Yep. Yep.
Stupid video games.
And you've kind of paused your D20 Future session with them at the moment.
Yes, so what we're doing is we go basically story arc to story arc.
Yeah.
We've gotten to a point, and now we are doing the fantasy campaign, and then once we get to a point in the fantasy campaign, we'll go back to the D20 Future.
So how goes your corruption of the dungeon crawlers into role players?
Slow, but it's working. It's like, oh, you guys just want to fight that? Well, tell me how.
Tell me how. Explain to me why. And like for early game people who are just getting into role playing, as a DM, I would just let them sort of talk as much as they wanted. One thing I've sort of picked up on, which I never really did, and which I think I will pull into future games with experienced players with D&D, is Matt Mercer will just sit there while people talk about their plans or talk about what's happening, and then he'll just count seconds in his head, and when he gets to a certain amount of time that's passed, something happens.
Yeah.
He's like, the world isn't waiting for you guys to plan. So,
well, it's like I've had a couple things where it's like, okay, so the campaign starts with my players, and they all wake up in a medical facility, naked and having a procedure done to them. So they wake up, they then proceed to fight their way out of this medical center. So starts off easy enough with just a few orderlies. Then a few mercenaries are involved, and then as they get closer to the bottom, it tapers off again. So they fight their way out. They get outside now, naked, cold, and confused. And I have them pulled in by a character who kind of promises to befriend them, or help them with their situation if he helps them with theirs. And they get pulled into a plot that is quite criminal in nature, which they're unaware of. So as all this is happening, I'm trying to just like wait and see what they're gonna do and let them do their things, but of course none of them are comfortable with anything yet, so it's just like, okay, keep going, push this along. So after they stupid loud ass stuff in the game. Hold on a sec. Okay, so they've met this guy, they've gone on a shopping trip for him, they've gotten supplies, they end up stealing an armored vehicle, and they're told to fly off to a city. And like, once they get there, just stop in the middle of the city. That's all we need you to do the job for, and you're free and you have a vehicle. Like, you scratch my back, I scratch yours, I'm providing you transportation out of here, I just need you to fly to the middle of the city. Turns out what they're transporting is a bomb. They blow up this whole damn city because they're all unable to disarm the bomb because their rolls suck. And then they're unable to push it out because their rolls suck. So instead of like gently dumping the bomb out, they just nose stall their aircraft, drop it right in the middle of the city, and hightail it out. So they flatten the whole damn city. Okay? So at this point, I'm expecting the characters to, you know, go back and be like, hey, what the hell, dude? And find out the story and continue from there. And, okay, maybe, like, plead with this guy or just wait around as his employers show up to try to figure out what the plot of all this was. Is that what happens? They're like, nope, we're just going to go to this other city instead. We can always go back to get our revenge later. So then they go and spend like 3 or 4 weeks in another city. They've now ended up working for a couple different people on odd jobs. They've done some refugee help that I've kind of forced them into because that's the main work. So they're now helping out the refugees of the massive bombing that they partook in because karma, bitches. And then they end up getting themselves a space vehicle that is in need of work. So now that they've got all that done, oh, and they found a very kinky bar, which they seem to frequent because they're weird that way. But anywho, now that they've got all that, and they've done that for probably a period of quite a few weeks to a couple months, they go back to this original spot where they escaped the medical compound. They go to confront the person who sent them out on this mission, and yeah, they find him dead in his workshop. Like, there's this whole, okay, they're supposed to show up there and find the boss people, chewing him out for not taking the mission himself, and he kind of found out what they were trying to do, and so on and so forth, and instead of getting this into a criminal underground or being able to expose them to the authorities, they just show up to this guy's place. He's dead now because life goes on when they're going around dicking in their city.
Yeah.
But hey, in the meantime, since he's dead, they've just kind of like taken over his workshop there and have a pad to hide their stolen prototype spacecraft. Like, I'm not punishing them for it, but there is things that happen in the world when they're not around to deal with them. And I'm letting them know that it's like, yeah, things happen. There's a time scale to stuff. Like, if a mission's available, it's just not just gonna, like, sit there in your backlog forever. But yes, it's been amusing. I made a bunch of good, like, lawful good, aligned, usual players who are just dungeon crawlers who roll dice and take out monsters. And I forced them into a criminal campaign where they're now fugitives, hiding from the law, now in a stolen spaceship that they've just absconded with, and slowly turning them into role players instead of dungeon crawlers. Figured, hey, if I'm going to push them out of their comfort zone, I'm going to really push them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, you might as well go all the freaking way.
Yeah.
I mean...
It's like, go big or go home. Come on. And I figure, like, being out of their midst in the one and playing a style they're not previously comfortable with is like, hey, since we're already exploring here, well, let's explore with a bit of roleplay. I'm not sure whether that's helping or hindering them yet, but that was the thought in my mind.
I think, to be honest, it's probably a help, because if it was a fantasy campaign, they'd probably be a little bit too focused on the stats.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a sci-fi campaign, they're not 100% sure what their stats do.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm. And we played it hard and fast with some rules. Because, like, it's the first campaign I've ever played, so it's like, okay, remembering all the damn rules. But then the other thing is, like, okay, we're focusing more on the RP. Who cares if that's the way the rule actually works? It sounds awesome, let's do it that way. You told the story? Good, we're going to make it work that way.
Yeah.
The rule of cool.
I mean, it's one of the things I did with you guys, because that's how I tend to run campaigns. Like, if you guys can tell me a story, I'll tell you what to roll.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys can tell me what you want to achieve, I'll tell you what to roll to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You might fuck it up, but that's the fun bit.
Yeah. It's interesting, because, like, as a player, you kind of have to take the improv mentality of yes and. oh, there's a thing I didn't explore over there. I'm gonna turn this boat around. Whereas, as a game master, it's not so much a yes and, it's a yes but. It's like,
yeah.
you want to do that, but you have to overcome this. Like, you can't say no. Or at least it's a lot more engaging and entertaining when you don't.
You do have to say no to a certain extent. You have to keep things
there's
you have to keep
rules.
things grounded.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the way I've always looked at it is the DM is gravity and the players Icarus. The players want to reach the sun. The DM's there to say, well, you can get a certain distance off the ground, but those wings don't last forever, and bring the players crashing back down. But Icarus doesn't give up, and the point of gravity is not to make Icarus to give up. The point of gravity is just to keep Icarus coming back down so he can try again.
Yeah.
It's one of the things. It's one of the things I did with you guys. Like, there were times when you guys really wanted to do something, and technically, with the roles you got and the rules we had. But as DM, I was like, okay, this isn't going to completely unbalance or ruin the campaign. I'm going to let you guys have that one because it's entertaining. But then when it comes to things,
it's got you engaged. Let's not deflate you. It doesn't break any major rules. Go for it.
Exactly. Whereas with certain things that you want to do, I was just like, nope. The one thing I do a lot when I DM, which I've noticed a lot of DMs don't, is I lace my campaign with basically opportunities for players to fuck up.
Well, it's like the only reason my characters in the D20 or the D20 Future campaign have the spacecraft that they've got is like, okay, they were as part of recovery missions in this bombed city. They've been hired by one of the larger corporations to, after doing previous work for them, uncover some more sensitive stuff. Well, they go in, instead of taking a standard contract, they decide, oh no, we don't want to provide the information that these guys want for a standard contract. So we're going to sign a contract that basically says if we don't abide 100% by the contract, the corporation has every right to kill us. Instead of, signing the standard fare with, like proper credential information and a blood test and whatnot to track these guys, they're like, nope, we don't want you having our blood or like having access to wipe our memories if we see something sensitive, so we'll just take like the non-disclosure agreement where if anything goes wrong, you kill us. And in doing that, when they come across this ship, and instead of leaving the ship alone, because like that would be the safe thing to do, and just be like, hey guys, look, your ship's down there. Well, they go ahead, unbury it, and then decide to take it for a joyride. Well, it's like, you guys started up, you took it out of here, you did the non-standard agreement. So yeah, by the time you took it out of there and these guys figured that, it's like, it's now cheaper to kill you than it is to pay you. So you've broke the rules, you've screwed up, here you go. And it's just like a bunch of moments where it's like, yeah, you could have taken the standard agreement, or you have this other option to screw up. You could have left everything alone and had a huge wealth bonus, but you wanted the spaceship, you greedy bastards.
Oh, D&D players are always greedy. It's great.
It's like, oh look! There's like numbers on paper loot, or there's shiny loot. They always go for the shiny loot.
Yep. They always go for the pretties.
It's like, we don't care if we're like halfway set for life and have wealth that's like 7 times beyond our current level. We want a broken spaceship that's going to take like 12 levels to fix.
Oh, it's exactly like
although I love the history.
It's exactly like the situation of I had one of my friends who was DMing, this was years and years ago, and he had a party, and he actually asked my advice because he knew I was a DM, and I was actually playing one of the characters in the game. And he came to me between sessions and was like, "You guys have too much money." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Like, if you guys
such thing.
I was like, he was like, if you guys go and buy magical items, like, like, I'll have to basically rewrite all the encounters because you'll be too powerful." I was like, right. He went, I'm not really sure how to deal with this because it's kind of like the luck of the dice that you got this much money, and I don't want to just like say to people you can't have this much money. And I said to him, just put a fucking pet shop. just I promise you, put a pet shop in the town.
Yeah, it is like pet shop in the town with exorbitant price, like cyber kittens or something.
Well, it was a fancy campaign. We were playing in a.
Or sorry, not cyber, but like long toothed one, saber kittens.
Yeah. Well, we had me and him talked about it for a while. Basically, the party ended up in their shopping trip in this magical pet shop with things like cats that could teleport and parrots that could breathe fire. It was a cone of fire that did 1 damage. And like basically magically altered pets. And he was like, "Oh, you want a fire-breathing parrot? That's fine. That's 3,000 gold." And of course, every single player was like, "Yes, we fucking want a fire-breathing parrot."
I don't want a fire-breathing parrot. I want 7. And Freckles right in there with them. Totally blow my money on magic pets.
Exactly. And it's like,
unless there's stupid freaking sky mantas that are trying to get up my ass right now, piss off.
I wasn't playing this campaign, and I didn't know the DM at the time the campaign was done, but one guy had a campaign where one of the players spent all his money on prostitutes.
Ah, yes, you've told me about this guy.
And ran out of money for prostitutes and didn't have any magical items, and so convinced other players to give him money to buy magical items and spent it all on prostitutes. It's like, that's one way to get rid of excess cash.
Yeah, my current character keeps like buying fancy clothes. Yeah. So the story of my current fantasy character I'm playing with is he joined the party as a bum in a very poor looking and poor repaired jacket, who overheard that they were going on a job and basically just joined them without their permission. And his whole backstory is, yeah, he's been homeless for the last few years because he's a sorcerer obsessed with producing his own mechanical golems. And so far, every time he's tried, he's blown up a different house he's lived in. So he's just... And it goes with my spellcasting score that, yes, I can't do anything because my spellcasting is scored so low. So my whole backstory came from my stat rolls of, yep, he's a golem-obsessed sorcerer who's blown up all his previous homes, and now he's just a bum. And now that he's got money and acquired things because he's a bum, so he's been greedy now that he actually has access to stuff, he's just buying nice clothes. Like, he's bought a really nice jacket until we went into the sewers with it. He's now got like some gold gilded vests and jackets and a silvered and gold daggers, and because his dragon traits are coming out now with scales on his neck or that, if he's in public places he wears a white porcelain mask. If he's in combat he has a enchanted leather mask with like wriggling tentacles upon it. And it's just like, yeah, like all this stupid crap that, like, a few of them give me like little bonuses to like bluff or intimidation on my combat mask, or I've just got my porcelain mask enchanted to give me a +1 charisma so that I can actually do stuff now. But yeah, like a lot of it's just been ridiculous. Oh, I could have had a +2 charisma, but instead I spent that money to have the armor I just built enchanted so I can make it look like my fancy clothes. I got glamored armor instead of the additional skill point because that's my character.
Okay.
But it's fun to
makes
play
sense.
the inept sorcerer.
It is. It is.
Mhm.
It's one of the things that I strongly believe in when I try and teach players is that your character's weaknesses are more entertaining than your character's strengths. Like, if your character is shit at something, that's funny and fun, and playing into role-playing things is entertaining.
Like, hey, if you can't hit anything with any of your spells, levitate everyone, everything, and then the rest of the time, just poke them with magic missile. It's a valid stratagem.
Well, it's like
Ooh, this place is nice.
one of the players I had that had a really low intelligence.
Mhm.
Whenever the team was planning anything, he would roleplay his low intelligence character, and his plans would be terribly useless. Like, he'd never pretend that his character was bad at planning. That's what his character was bad at planning, and low intelligence. But at some points, he would basically go forwards with his own terrible plan without telling them. And at one point, he said someone else was complaining that basically what he'd done in game, this was person complaining out of character, what his character done in game had basically put them all at risk. And he turned to them and went, "I have intelligence 4. I'm as smart as your average retriever."
No, I think the king of doing that in and out of character was Vagabond. During our campaign when I played Nets. Because Vagabond not only played his character with low intelligence and the inability to read, but all his notes were drawn on the game board because he refused to write it down because his character couldn't read. Like, that was just beautiful roleplay in and out of the game. Like, for his inventory, he had a drawing of a sack on a table, and then he drew his items into there. Oh, man. Vagabond, if you're out there and listening, you were just a charm to play with. It was awesome. And if they ever make, like, island claiming a thing in this game, I'm going to take this island as my home. This island is mine now. But yes, that was fun. And then I had all my organs removed.
That was your own fault, dude.
I will concede that that is true, but still you're a jackass for doing it.
Oh, the pleasures of being a DM, jackass.
Oh.
You get to do horrible things to your players.
A turtle druid, or a turtle druid that turned into a turtle dragon. So how many different games have you played, Gimme? Gimme's around often enough. I could recruit Gimme into a horrible campaign of my own creation. Wow. Oh, somebody else is building something up there. Is it cool? Oh no, they've just left a box here and there's nobody around. Ooh. That was your only one? We should fix that, Gimme. We will talk later. Okay, let's see. I haven't been to that one yet. And then we'll go up top, and then we'll go down below. Ooh. Ouch. I may not survive my own adventure. What else is new? Seriously, I was just about on there. No, 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 no! Oh, that was close. Stupid grappling hook. DMing is a joy, but also like a stupid amount of work. Well, to a point. Like, it is work, but then sometimes it's not, but then sometimes it is. And I know that doesn't help at all, but that's the way it is. It's like, you have to have plans, but then nobody goes by your plans. And then when you have no plans, people spend like 4 hours doing the thing you didn't plan for. And then when you do have plans, they're like, nah, we're gonna go to the other city. So being able to tell people no sometimes may be beneficial. Or making up really good excuses. I could have just told them that they didn't have enough fuel to get there. Ah. This is a neat little place. Anything in the floor? Nope. Man, it's almost 9 already. Man, I wish I didn't keep getting so many frame drops here. Actually, that may be one of the benefits of if my car is written off, I may be able to, instead of looking at one of the super fun cars I've been looking at, maybe look at something a little cheaper and get a new computer.
Hmm.
So it's like, okay, do I want to go full out satiate my vice with vehicles, or do I want a pretty decent vehicle and a new computer?
I'm not that obsessed with vehicles, and I like computers, so I know which one I would go with.
But I really like both.
Gimme, if you're trying to get into DMing, my advice would be don't do the stupid thing that I did my first time and Toad did his first time, which is try and
Create your
actually
own
do something.
campaign.
Yeah.
Do not create your own campaign for your first foray into play somebody else's game for your first time DMing.
You can buy basically pre-designed campaigns, Tomb of Agrath, Curse of the Rise, things like that. They're well designed, they have a lot of information in them. They're more linear because you're not designing the world yourself. It's a lot more linear, but it gets you into DMing, it gets you into the flow of DMing a lot more easily. But me and Toad are stupid. We have to do things our own way.
Well, it's like there's certain cars I won't buy because I don't like the look of the dash. Everything else about it is fantastic, but I hate the look of the dash. Stupid 2015 Accord Coupe from Honda. Or it's like, well, I don't like those stories, or it's not original enough for me, so I'm gonna make my own story.
And plagiarize all the shit.
I only plagiarize half the shit that I admit to. Ah, that got me up.
That was one of the big things with a couple of the DMs that I've talked to is like, they're like, well, I can't make it too similar to this or too similar to that. It's like, fuck it, fuck that. I plagiarize everything. Character ideas, creatures, locations, story arcs. It's like, I will fucking plagiarize the shit out of that game.
Okay, I'm gonna do this one intentionally, Gimme, just for old time's sake. Yes, I'm having troubles here. You know how they say that some places just are impregnable? Well, I'm trying to impregnate this bitch, and I'm just having such a hard time getting up. Oh, and I ran directly into spots I'm not supposed to run into. Yeah, man.
I have nothing to say to that statement.
Can I go in from outside?
That's usually how it works, Toad.
Oh. Yes, I guess so. Just trying to get in this tower, and nothing's working.
Do it the D&D
Well, we'll
way.
see you later, Freckles. Have a good night.
Bye, Freckles.
And yeah, I had to do a stupid for old time's sake. Although, well, that one's intentional, so we won't put it in Toad quotes. At
You
least
have
I
to get
won't.
into the tower the D&D way and just hit it with something until you have a hole.
Blow it up with more gunpowder.
God damn fucking gunpowder. I once had a player who used to carry like 12 vials of alchemical acid. That was the bane of my fucking life as a DM. Puzzle room, alchemical acid. Locked door, alchemical acid. Important NPC that is required for the story, alchemical acid.
You know, when my sorcerer warlock finally kicks the bucket, I want to do a tinkerer or alchemist. Because I like making things. And like until most recently, when I decided to cross-class, I couldn't do anything for armor because I was a sorcerer and I couldn't use armor. I couldn't do anything for most weapons because as a sorcerer I couldn't use weapons. Although my sorcerer did invent a crossbow with a basically baby bottle on the top of it that you'd fill the bottle with your poison of choice, and then as it fired a bolt, the bolt was drawn under the bottle.
Okay.
So it's a self-applying poison
crossbow.
But because I described it in such detail and how I was going to make it and drew it out with like the whole baby bottle and the nipple stuff, the bottle to like feed this out and like how it like twanged against the head of the arrow, it just became in-game the nipple gun. As I went into the detail while describing this of how the nipple is squeezed gently as the arrow goes underneath it, not as to damage the nipple, but as just to feed enough poison onto the arrowhead.
And demonetized.
And all of a sudden, yes, it just became, oh yeah, and there he is, the sorcerer, not doing magic, just like levitating light posts at people and using his nipple gun. Best sorcerer ever. Something directly below me, right? Yes, right over there.
I suppose it is the closest thing you can get to technology, really, is the tinkered stuff.
And you know how I like randomly building stuff? Whether it be a camera system that shoots lasers into the eyeballs of my enemies, or selling my kidney to have a fiber optic camera come out my forehead.
Yep.
Toad's characters build stuff.
I was once playing in a game where I was playing a druid, and we had a mage who was very, very squishy. And this was in 3.5 when mages couldn't really wear armor.
Yeah.
And there's a rule about cover, whereas basically, if you're right up against cover and there's a way to peek around it, you can peek around it and retain your cover bonus. Basically peeking around a corner.
Yeah.
My druid got stone shape, and we basically created together, my character and his character created the mage turret.
So wait, he would
So every
just like put on a stone ward so he was invulnerable, and then you would peek out around from him?
no, stone shape, the druid stone shape allows you to take stone and change its shape.
Oh, okay.
So every fight started like this. Mage, the character with the lowest HP, runs straight at the enemy. Druid casts stone shape, covers mage in dome of stone with little holes in it, giving mage full cover but allowing him to peek out of the holes and cast spells. Mage then spends the entire fight hidden in a dome of stone, casting spells.
Nice. I approve, and I've already been to this island. Damn it. New island. Where haven't I been yet? That looks familiar. They all look familiar now. Damn it, we're gonna go straight for a wind wall because the wind walls aren't too difficult to get through. We're just gonna do a wall. Come on. Which wall will we do? We will do that wall. Come on, turn around. Face the wall. Now that I have instruments on my vehicle that can read off heading, it is so much nicer. Because I can be like, oh yes, that is the direction I want to travel to get through this. Okay, let's fill up our fuel. I've got lots of mass on this ship, and I have a fair amount of thrust. Should be fine. I think I came through a storm wall to get here, so going through wind walls, I should still be within the same tier of area. Yes. Okay. I just have a hard time finding time to do anything.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's write a campaign, or write new rules, or play another campaign, or try to read a book I've been trying to finish for the last year, or catch up with a TV show, or play a couple games of the like 3,000 I've got on Steam to get games out of my backlist or backlog. There is not time for all the things and full-time work and wanting to go out and drive to have fun. Too many things. Yeah, I'm kind of excited. Saturday, I get my car to get inspected and see if I actually have to go car shopping or whether I've just been joyriding people's vehicles in the meantime. Well, that's the great thing right now. It's like, yeah, hey, my car may possibly have been hit by that big insurance claim thingy. Let me drive the most awesome vehicle on your lot right now. I maybe will be back in a week and a half, 2 weeks' time, if I find out that my vehicle has or has not been damaged by this. So they're just like, oh yeah, legitimate claim. You already have a sports car. Let's just put you into whatever you want to drive. It's been pretty epic. It's just like, yeah, I want to drive a Mustang today. Oh, really? No problem. Well, in that case, I want to drive 2 Mustangs today, because there's 2 different engines I'm interested in. Let's do it. So yeah, last Saturday was 2 Mustangs, the Honda Accord, the Hyundai Genesis, and the Hyundai Veloster. Oh, that Veloster is such a disappointment, though. They look so aggressive. But they are so soft and squishy. Like, everything on them is just unresponsive. Okay, am I getting close to this wall yet? Okay, yeah, I'm getting through. Oh, I can hear the wind now. I guess we want to go up some. We want to approach at the maximum height. I should probably have more wings on this thing. Yeah, we're at a high enough height. Going in westward. Yeah, man. Go into the wall. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Feels like this takes forever to enter.
Well, it's kind of your design, so...
Well, it's like, it doesn't seem to matter how many engines I have. It provides me more power, but it doesn't actually provide more thrust. There seems to be a speed limit in the game. So, like, it allows me to climb faster or adjust heading quicker, but otherwise for, like, actual speed and approaching things, it doesn't do a hell of a lot.
Yeah, but that was the same in the Space Engineers. They kind of have to put speed limits to make the physics function.
Well, like,
nice
there was still speed limits, but like there's definitely a difference in using a large amount versus a small amount of thrusters. Whereas this one here, it's like, okay, whether I've got 2 engines on it that are half decent, or whether I've got 6 engines on it, other than making it through these walls, it doesn't do a lot of difference.
Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating, but then the game's still not finished yet, so... Not feature complete.
Actually, they're saying that come the next release with a PvE mode, it will be at that point feature complete. They're not adding to anything else.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm getting pushed way down. I should have had more wings. Oh, no, now I'm pulling up. Come on. I don't want to have to rebuild everything from scratch. This is supposed to be a good ship design. I built it myself. It looks awesome. Let's do this. If it was just based on looks, my ship would get through every time. Like, it is very pretty. You pass. Man, like, I was coming in level with that island previously, and now I'm like, way low.
I think it's an interesting mechanic that they've added these kind of hiding spaces.
One sec, I can't hear you over what's happening here, so I'm just going to turn that down. Okay, go again.
It's an interesting mechanic where they've added these kind of blind spaces in flight. A little bit, I like that in addition to kind of like the way Space Engineer does it. Space Engineers, you fly. With this one, the fact that you've got blind spaces, so you lose your orientation. It's,
yeah.
I It's a nice little tweak.
Yeah, like Space Engineers is a great spaceship building game, but that's it. It still has nothing else.
Yeah.
It's just, okay, I've built a spaceship. What now? Get more resources to build another spaceship. Okay, well, I've done that 20 times now. What am I actually supposed to do? And I'm still going in the same heading. Oh, now I'm turning off a bit. But I seem to have raised. Oh, and the wall's getting thinner. Or at least was for a second. Yeah, I should have put on another couple engines and another wing.
2,000 engines later.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. Woo! Sounds like we're through. Nope, it's just... Okay, now I've got a white wall again. Is it just going to ramp up again and music's going to come back in a second? Yep. And the music's back.
Well, I'm going to head to bed, dude.
Okay, you have a good night. We'll see you later. And that was Droid leaving us for the evening. Always a pleasure to have that guy around. So who do we still got with us? We've got Gimme. Freckles is taken off. Probably got Gizmo out there. But I haven't really seen much other people in chat. Oh, come on. Get through this damn wall. And I'm still being pushed, like, straight down. Oh, well, at least I can't see the other things from the other side of the wall anymore, so I must be at least, like, halfway through. Man, like, I'm just spearheading it through this wall, though. It's, like, not like I've been pushed sideways or that, or getting turned around like I was previously in my other ships. It's just, with all the surface area, I'm being pushed lower and lower and lower. But man, I'm staying straight on target. Like, I could just, like, hang out here. Be like, hey look, we're in the middle of this windy storm. How you guys doing? It's kind of neat. I'm just gonna sit on top of my big flying boat and let it do all the things by itself. And now I'm gonna go check my heading again because I'm really not that confident of it. Oh, we've adjusted slightly, so we'll just bring it on over. And I'm now at the bottom of the... Yeah. I got pushed all the way to the bottom. Come on. Oh. Well. There's what's left of my ship. Look at that. Okay. It is just bones now, as it gets thrown directly down into the nether. And now I gotta wait 30 seconds to revive in a nearby chamber. Or I can revive back at my ship and increase that number. Yeah, I'm just gonna revive somewhere close by. We'll see if I made it to the other side or not. Although I have like 0 resources now. Am I on an island I recognize? That would be a yes. Damn it. Damn you, wall! Okay, so I need a heavier ship, more engines, and additional wings. And this island has like nothing for resources. Although, if no one else has been here, it can have some pretty good crates on it. And crates can hold half-decent resources. Whoop! Nope, someone else has already been here. Or at least through parts of it. Whoa, let's not fall all the way down there. Oh, and everything's gonna respawn here in a second. Awesome. Like that. Haha! I've already got a railing corner, so I don't need a railing corner. Everything has respawned. Everything has respawned because this is a game. Everything has respawned. I really like the Lego movie. Because the Everything is Awesome song. Everything is awesome. Everything's awesome when you're part of a team. Everything is awesome when you're living the dream. Running round, going down, checking out this room right here. Pretty sure I've already got that. Yeah, I've gotten all the sciencey thingamajigs previously, so I just need to go through and collect crates. Does it go any further down? No. Running this way. And we'll go over here. Is there anything this way? Nope. Anything that way? Nope. It goes all the way out to the bottom of the place. Anything over here? Not that I see, so let's go over here. Woo. Oh, there's stuff over here. It has now respawned, so it does more materials. I really don't want to build my ship out of birch, so I'm not going to bother grabbing that. Oh, this area. I hate this area. This area is super annoying, and there's a bunch of bugs in here, hence the buzzing. And it's like a maze of these thingamajogs. There's like a bunch of rooftops all stacked on top of each other. Okay, let's go down to the next level. There's one of the bugs, right in that room. Where'd you go? I just saw you like fly past. Oh, there it is. What? No, I'm sure I saw its wings. Where are you, bug? Oh, there you are. You got outside. Okay, cool. Where are things? Again, if anybody wants to join me in Worlds Adrift, feel free to. Because I do want to try the new alliance system. Sounds quite awesome. And there's been nothing in here. Hello, bug. Go away and don't eat me. Cool. Ooh, nothing. And so we're gonna run around with this. And, oh, hey, look, somebody died over here. And they had iron on them. Oh, I actually have a fair chunk of iron. Cool. Iron is a good material to use. We're just gonna go like, bloop, and get on out of this cavern. I still find it unreliable on whether you're going to take damage or not in this game when falling from certain heights. But, like, I've hit way harder than that previously at other times, and yet this time it does me damage. Yet next time it will not. Is this a place I was already in? Yep. Okay, so I was already in here. Already went down those paths. Gonna go up there. And I hate that's all that's on this place is birch. No elm, there's no chestnut, just birchwood. That's the place I was just in. We're gonna check out over here. And not die. See, like, look at how hard I hit those walls. And yet, no damage. Hey, we got 6 people again. Who's over here? Welcome to the stream. I'm Blaster Toad. I sometimes play games and stuff. But not always, because I've been away for like a couple months. But now I'm back. How are you? I'm like super tired too. And just the amount of smoke here, I've just been like super lethargic because of like lack of oxygen from smoke. At least that's what I'm blaming it on. Then because of weather changes, my back and neck pain is getting worse, so I'm not having very good night's sleeps. Oh, it's this place that I hate. We're gonna go back this way. This way. Running around through a cave and exploring stuff. Come on, get out of the hole. The hole? There we go. We got out the hole. Different cave. And randomly flail about because video games. That goes up. This goes out. What do we have out here? Yay, we've got stuff to grab from. We'll salvage that, and we get some silver. And, ooh. What is that going to give me? That is going to give me iron. A good, strong building material. So I've just lost my ship to a wind wall because I was underprepared and dove at it like a jackass. Now, we're going to do things significantly more awesome-like. But I need to get materials first. Now we're going to do a completely new ship design. Oh, if this frame stutter would stop. Choo, door open. Choo, door close. And there's nothing in there. There's nothing back there. Open another door. This doesn't go down at all. Oh, but it does go out. Oh, and this is the first place I came in at. Got some in. Or is this not the first place I came in? Is this another hut, or is this the same hut? Maybe yet another hut. That did not look like a wooden pot set. Yes, this is... No, this is maybe a different one? Nope, this is the one that I left stuff in. Okay. But... Oh, but what are these trees? Oak. Oak is like super heavy, but if that's all I have to build out of, that's all I have to build out of. Ooh, don't crush me, I don't have a reviver up yet. Come on. Collect all the wood. That's right, Toad is out getting wood. Woo! Oh, come on! Should have not taken damage from that, just because style points, like pirouette through the air, as you come out of hold, it'd be like, whoa, I'm fantastic. Are there no building zones on here? Like, nobody has made a landing pad on here? Or a shipyard, I guess they call it in the game. Where is a shipyard? Been there, been there. There's a shipyard. Someone has built a shipyard here before. Ooh. There we go. And someone's left wood. Ooh, chestnut. There's not going to be a lot of it. But, hell. Chestnut's chestnut. We'll take what we can get. Come on. Salvage that wood. Taking forever to salvage the things. Woohoo. Okay, I'm bored of that now. Like, it's what I should be doing. You have taken ownership of an abandoned shipyard. Awesome. Ooh. And they have stuff there. Metal. Oh, metals. And it's made of iron. Pretty decent. Yeah, man. See, this animation works, or this health thing works really good for metals, where it's like you strip the paint from it, and by the time all the paint's gone, you know that you destroyed it to its salvage point. But for the wood, that doesn't work as well. Okay. So let's build a new frame, and we'll find out how many minerals we need. So we are going to... Which one was the Stormbreaker? The Stormbreaker is another boaty looking thing. Okay. And the Cutter is a big boat thing. The Wall Runner is a small awkward boat thing. And the TA-01 is... Oh, I remembered that one. We're not going to use any of those. We're actually going to replace the TA-01. Okay, so we are going to edit the ship frame. And we're going to go, and, oh, we can't go any further back. Okay. Come in here. We're going to give ourselves a good center area. Man, it's hard to get exact measures on this. So that is going to be close. No, oh no, it's not going to be close enough. That's a fair bit off. There we go. That'll be close enough. And move this one over. And this one over. And then we're going to line this one up by its handle thingies. There we go. Okay, and then we want to give it a bit of a curved wall. Sure. Bit of a curved wall. Like that. Okay, so this is going to be our midsection. And our midsection is going to be a couple units wide. And it's going to give us a nice big platform to build everything within. Then we are going to drastically taper to a tail up, down. To do this drastic taper, we may thin that out or adjust that a bit later and do something like that. And we're going to have our engines back here pushing the rest forward. So we won't have that quite so drastic. We're going to bring that, just a little less ridiculous. We're going to give it a softer, setup like that. Okay. And then we'll build some railing in there so we can walk to the back and fix stuff as needed. And then that back will have our engines on it. Okay. And then that also lets us have weaponry in here so that if anything comes to attack our engines in the back, we can deal with it. Since we're going to have it this long, we don't need it as wide, so we're going to narrow this up some. Yeah, that's looking better. Okay. Can I, like, select a few things? No. Multiple selections would be a great addition. So we're just going to narrow these in. Go. And then we're going to bring it forward, and we're going to start doing a smaller taper like that. We're actually going to start bringing the bottom in more than the top, so that the top is this kind of like large attack deck type idea. And then the bottom will allow us to kind of hit a grappling hook to the top bit and then come up straight from the bottom. It is easier to board the ship. Not great for pirate attacks, but fantastic for ease of use getting into the vehicle. Okay. Then we're going to come forward again. We can't come forward again. Okay. So we're going to, there we go, come forward now. As we've made it not so long, we're going to bring these in. We're going to bring that back. We're going to bring that back some, and then that back some more, and then that down, as so. And then that should give us a view through the front, but allow us to put instruments on that top bar that will be inside the view. And then we're going to make that roundness a little bit less than the rest. And we're going to make that a little bit more uniformly round. That one. And that one. There we go. So that we can do wings off those. Okay. And then we'll still have our engines off here. So for here, we want to bring these out. And that way we can have prominent angled engines off there, and yet have straight wings. And we'll do not quite as aggressive, but a similar thing right here. So we could have angled engines off and then a straight wing. We may have multiple engines off this bit. Actually, that's what we'll do. We'll bring this in a tad with the same idea, so that we could have an array of 3 engines each side, but then we could have our wings sit in front of them. And then we are going to want... We're going to bring this one in some... Ooh, not in that far. No. In just a bit. I think that's in just a bit. And we're going to bring that out like that. We could have a pretty much straight out, but then we could have a more upward facing wing for giving us better yawing or turning. Okay. Just that in a tad. And then we will come out the top. And we're going to bring that in, bring the top in, bring the top in. We're going to bring it forward one, and we're going to bring those in as well. And we're going to go for like a submarine sonar tower type idea here. So that, and we want it tapering back. I'm going to bring this down and forward a bit more. Bring this back. And then in this area, not only could we house a few things, but it will be a covered area to walk up to the top section, which will have our weaponry so that we can fire around the vehicle to dissuade things like the stupid mantas that keep attacking me all the bloody time. Okay, so we want to bring these. Can't bring that back. Bring that down, forward some, and we'll take this one down more. Take this one down more. Oh, take this one back. But we will have it come in and come in and go down and come back like so. Probably make that just a little bit wider. That. Yeah, I think that should be good for a covered area. We may want to make this a little taller at its tallest point. We could also have wings off that as well. We'll give it a little bit more rounded profile. Rounded kind of thingy. No, let's go for more angular and aggressive. And this is going to be our cockpit, so maybe we bring that down just a tad. We're going to be walking around, and then, I want to leave up. And this we want to bring in. This here will in, and in. Okay. And then, can we pull off the bottom? We cannot pull off the bottom. Okay. So that will be this ship. Okay. Where is my done button? Oh, right there. It's all gray. Okay, so that's going to take 180 or 480 wood, which I do not currently have by any means. But only 186 stuff there. So we are going to call this the tail pusher, because it's going to have engines on its tail. Or no, we don't want to unload that. We want to rename it, and we're going to call it the Whale Shark. Whale Shrack, because somebody the other day was talking to me in here and they said it looks like a Shrack, what they meant to put shark, so we're going to call it the Whale Shrack in honor of random dude I ran into the other day. Okay. So, we need to go grab materials now. Let's go mining. And again, if anybody wants to join me, feel free to do so. I want to try out that new system for alliances. This game is not free. Let's see, what is Worlds Adrift going for right now on Steam? So if we go to the store page, Worlds Adrift is $28. And 50-Foot Ant has it, but he's just undergone shoulder surgery. So he's not going to be joining me anytime soon. And I know that Sir Darmok also has it. But he, I think, is in school, or he's back to full-time work, one or the other. So, or both, if he's maybe doing some schooling stuff in the evenings. Okay. Ooh, aluminum. Hey, maybe this island doesn't suck as much as I thought it did. No, come back here, aluminum. I want you. No. I just lost all that aluminum down the hill. No! No, 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 no! You can't kill me like that, you stupid-ass game. Now we've lost all the resources we just grabbed as we hunted through all the chests on this island. I need to go find outcroppings for metal, because there's trees, not everywhere, but there's enough trees around on here that I'm not super worried about wood. We'll just make it out of, we'll make the test version out of birch, so it's cheap. We do need metal. I do have 1,000 iron, but that won't get us too far once we go to build all the other components we need. Okay. Yes, we've already been in there. The spiral room that goes down 2 levels. Yes, we've already been there. Been in all these places. Let's see if they have anything for resources down here. This is where I cut down the oak tree. We'll just, since we're down in this hole, grab our wood. Come on. Man, this game has gotten way worse since the update for random frame drops. And there we go. That stuff. Come on. You have killed me for the 2nd time. You know what? Let's... Because this island is being a bitch. Okay. Can we free dive into the house? We're gonna dive into that house. Woo! Really, that... Stubbing my toe swinging around will kill me, but that won't. Okay, so we're now going to go and we're going to find the side of this place, swing into it, and then there's a revive option, which will take us to a random island. And hopefully random island has better crap on it than this one. Okay, there's an island on here where it's like all the trees are chestnut. I would love to be on that island. Okay, we're going to run, we're going to jump, we are going to hang, we are going to swing, and... Oh, lamest swing ever. Okay, so we're going to get some momentum, so we want to come down here, we want to fall, swing, come up, and... Really? You would have killed me last time for doing that. And I don't want to just fall to my doom, because that's not very amusing. Okay, so we're gonna swing out here, then we're gonna swing. And that pretty much brought me to a stop, so we want to get maximum arc. There we go. You know what, just screw it. Goodbye, cruel world, because apparently I can't commit suicide for how much I try swinging into stuff. But if I stub my toe trying to move around a place, then it's going to murder me. And there's one interesting section underneath that island that I haven't explored. Now that I see that, since I'm like falling through the air. Okay, let's do a random revival chamber. So we get away from this damn island and we can actually gain some resources. Okay, use number 1 of a maximum of 2 uses. This is not a chew tin. This is licorice mints, which were fantastic, and I ate them all because they're fantastic. They kind of taste like Fisherman's Friends. Okay, not as useless an island. Awesome. Those look like elm trees. And look, there is resources right here. Boom. Give me your bounty. And it's bronze, so it'll be okay for the inner workings of some of our stuff, but otherwise it's going to be completely useless. Okay, so before we go around chopping down trees which fall on my head and kill me, let's see if this place has been looted or not. And I'm going to assume not. Because right there's a nice chest with nothing in it. This place may have been looted and they just left the crap behind. Nickel. Nickel's great. Nickel is a very useful mineral in this game. See if, okay. Nothing down there, nothing up here. Weird lighting glitch where I blew that thing up. There's mineral outcropping there. Let's go jump over here and oh, there might be a chest over there. Is there anything in here? There's a chest right there. With some nickel. Huzzah! I like nickel. Nickel is good. And a crap wing. And a thing I didn't know yet. Perfect, but it's only 15 knowledge. And some tungsten. Strength and heat resistance, but very heavy. That could come in handy. Okay, so nothing else in here. Did I see a chest up above? No, it is a manufacturing thing. With just a standard box in it. Okay, so let's see what sort of trees we have on here. It is oak. Oak is heavy and crap. But if it's all we have, then that's what we're going to build our ship in. That being said, even though it's like supremely heavy, I think that if we can get enough metal, I can build upgrades for the hover engine bit, the Atlas reactor, that it doesn't really matter how heavy the ship is, because I'll be able to just like build the upgrades that like let me carry all the weight. So how much wood did we say we needed? Like 400 and some wood? Well, we're more than halfway there. At least for the body, so. Be nice if there was some elm on here. Come back, tree! Okay. Actually, I don't care if it comes back, because I'm just going to go over here anyway. That's either something good, or at least a mineral outcropping, so we're going to go check that out. Oh, and there's a mineral outcropping right there as well. I'm going to get this stuff, because it doesn't look like anybody's on this island with me. Oh, that looks like copper. Oh, it's bronze. No, come back, bro. I'm getting really good at that, which I don't want to be good at that. And then, yes, this is a mineral outcropping. I haven't yet seen a shipyard. What sort of mineral was this anyway? Is it worth chasing? Sure it is. Oh. There's a whole other island down there. I have been here before. I just completely forgot about that. Okay, so let's see what else we can plunder off of this island. there's anything else. So this just kind of comes to a sharp end over here. There's a bunch more oak. Oh, metals. Iron. Perfect. Well, I can build the whole thing out of iron if I get enough iron. The iron's not bad by any means. Not ideal. Hey, Spear! I am inviting anybody with this game to come join me playing this game. So if you wish to, or happen to have this game, come join me in the game. Yes, that. My brain is leaping on me because of my tiredness and my recent lack of sleep. Okay, so can I swing over close enough to get that? Not on my first swing, but on my second swing I will. And leap of faith, and grab, and swing. And don't take damage? Yeah! Look at how good that was. Okay, that was actually pretty good. I could have aligned that a little better, so I just like came walking into it. Otherwise, pretty good landing, setup, whatever. Organize that around. I wonder if I can actually use those on ships to make ships later. Because those are like little hover blocks, which are awesome. So like if you... Oh, I already got that, and then I... Because if you attach them to something, it makes them lighter. So I wonder if it'll make parts of a ship lighter, or whether it just makes individual parts lighter. So I know like you can't attach a part to a ship when it has one of those hover engines. There we go. And what are you, tree? You are also oak. I hate you. Oh well. I'll have lots of oak. It is resilient, but heavy, I think. Durable and versatile, but very heavy for wood. I already grabbed that one. Ooh! Okay, take a little bit of damage there, but far less than I was worried about. Okay, let's walk around here. Indiana Jones theme. Really? That little hop you take damage on. Like, it's not much damage I'm taking these last. Ooh, that could have been more. That would have been more damage, yes. Others like, I'm not taking that much damage right now. Okay, cool hollow bit of a place. Has to be something good in here, right? Nope, no entrances to caves or anything. Oh, yes, entrance to cave. And some resources up there, but I don't like mining while on a wire. Ah, but entrance to cave is shallow and disappointing. Come on. There we go. And we'll switch back to salvaging mode and click the metal out of this. Whatever metal it happens to give me. Come on. What the? No, what? Alt F4 is a beautiful thing. Well, after that stealing of a life from me, I am going to call it a night. I'm going to check what I have deleted there before I delete it. Yes, those commands were fun, weren't they? I'll look at bringing them back. It's just the chatbot I was using for them became more pricey than I wanted to pay for it. So, but anywho, we will see you all later. Bye for now. Hope you enjoyed the stream, and yeah, it won't be another couple months until I'm back here. Hopefully, just a couple weeks. So, we'll see you then.